My grandparents had 14 children, and 10 of those 14 ended up contracting Alzheimer's disease, early-onset Alzheimer's. Our average age of onset is 50 years old. So they've been dying anywhere from age 46 to age 60. The odds are about 98% that if you have that gene, you're going to get the disease, period. And I guess that made me pretty special.
It's devastating. You know, you essentially have generation after generation that develops these mutations, and people typically start to develop symptoms at the prime of their life.
What's that? Oh, yeah. Good job.
Yeah, we got the camera I read last night, so that was good.
Three, two, one.
The number of times people would say to me, I don't understand why you're in a research group for Alzheimer's, you're so young, or you're too young, and then would come out about other families that we know of that are in their 30s and 40s dealing with Alzheimer's.
All right. You know the drill. Close those eyes.
Throughout the ages, actually, it's unique individuals oftentimes that really provide us with breakthroughs. We can see, is this just something that is so specific to Doug's genetic background and the exposures and the life that he's had that is, you know, it's unique to him and he's just extremely lucky? Or is it something more mechanistically that we can put a finger on and say, we really think that it's this pathway that's allowed you to resist, to be resilient to having the traces of the disease for so long?
On the left, we have Doug's scan. On the right, we have a scan from an individual that is cognitively impaired and has been demented for numbers of years. And in here, what you see is these areas that are darker on the scan have atrophied and they filled with cerebrospinal fluid. On Doug's scan, so even though he's well past the age that we would expect him to become demented and show similar patterns of atrophy, what you see on his hippocampus is that it's still relatively tight on both sides, left and the right. He is in kind of the 1 in a million chance. We don't know exactly why, but he's got maintained cognition and he's showing resistance to the mutations that he's inherited.
My knife? I'm going to cut these open. Oh, jeez. Our family has spent so many years of nobody talking about it, and we're taking the opposite approach. Dear God, we thank you for family. We thank you for.
I'll take exactly how much you gave your dad.
I've woken up with nightmares of starting to be symptomatic and waking up in tears because it wasn't just a bad dream.
Fancy.
Have you not seen this?
No?
You've never really seemed to be a Tolkien person.
No. I mean, I'll watch them, but it's not like my favorite.
This is for my daughter. It has to be for my daughter. So, my hope is that by the time she comes around to 18 and can get her own genetic test, that there will be some answers, there will be some hope as far as treatments